Morning, Mr. Murphy. I hope you don't mind me coming in.
Not at all, not at all.
Oh, it seems a shame to disturb him. He looks so peaceful.
Now, well, not too much sleep is unhealthy for a grown man. Softens the brain, didn't you know that?
Oh, well, I don't suppose he'll want his tea to get cold.
No, he won't thank you for that. I tell you what. Do you see those two little black buttons you see just below the pillar? Well, look, a nice gentle tug.
Oh, but that
It'll bring him to nice and easy. Better than shouting.
Oh, all right. I've got a nice hot cup of tea for you. Now, I would have liked a red rose on the tray and an embroidered tray cloth, but I could only find a bit of groundsel. You see, I don't very often have guests, and so I like to treat them proper. It's all stirred and sugared. How did you sleep on that little thing, Charlie?
Oh, as a matter of fact, love, like a flipping log.
He did. I can vouch for that.
Oh, well, and I don't feel so bad about waking you up. But credit where it's due, it was Mr. Murphy suggested pulling the plugs out.
In your own interest, Charlie. Too much sleep softens the brain.
Someone else will get softened round here, and it won't be me.
Ah, no, Charlie, you're not thinking of offering physical violence to the man who taught Jack Doyle.
Jack Doyle?
Oh, I know him. We used to correspond.
Hey?
Oh, yes, his people had a little hot pie and black pudding shop at the back of the Hippodrome. Then they emigrated to New Zealand just after the First War. Jack liked me to write to him to keep in touch. He said the one thing he was homesick for was a black pudding. I would like to have sent him one for his birthday. Oh, and I was afraid it might get maggoty in post.
No, Mother dear. It was a different fella entirely. No, this was our Jack Doyle, the greatest fighter that ever set his foot in the ring. Of course, I only had the honor to know him in the second stage of his great career. But in all modesty, I must say that it was I who started him wrestling.
You? Jack Doyle?
Oh, I like wrestling.
Yes, and many other famous names you see on the telly today. They call me the father of Irish wrestling.
Oh, I like it when there's four of them in the ring. It's very exciting, then.
Ah, you can't beat it, Mother. You can't beat it.
What else do you do?
Do?
Besides wrestling?
Oh, well, of course, I don't go in for it directly, you see. No, I'm more on the management and promoting side, you see. That's my game. I make the arrangements, promoting and training.
Yeah, well, could you promote yourself off my mattress? I want to
right.
get dressed. It's getting a bit parky in here.
Ice hockey. That's a game I like watching. Oh, and football. Only I don't quite understand the rules.
Oh, football, well, now, there's a game for you. You know, I must take you along. I must take you along with me some Saturday. And I tell you what, I'll get Matt to give you something in a bit of explanation, you see. You'll enjoy it all the more.
Matt?
Matt. Didn't I tell you? Sure, him and me's like that. Ticklery writes to me the next time you come to this country, and may it be soon, there'll be a ticket waiting for you any Saturday. At Old Trafford, in the director's box. He's a massive fella, Matt. You know, he'd love to meet you, I know that.
Oh, well, I could go next Saturday.
Oh, that might be a bit difficult, you know, seeing as I'm not too sure of what my arrangements are at this stage. So I'm afraid I'll have to let you know. Well. Tea in bed and flowers on the tray.
Oh, well, not exactly flowers.
Well, it's the thought that counts. Isn't that right, Charlie?
Eh? Oh, yeah, definitely, yes.
Aye. Well, there's just one thing that would make everything perfect.
Oh, yes, Mr. Murphy, what's that?
You don't happen to have a morning newspaper. You know, I always like to keep in touch with what's going on in the outside world. I think it's the bounden duty of every public-minded citizen. Don't you, Mrs. Caldwell?
Well, Mrs. Caldwell doesn't get a morning paper, so you'll have to go and fetch it yourself.
Oh, but I do now, Charlie. I have done for some weeks. And I'll be very pleased for Mr. Murphy to have a look at it. Only, well, as a matter of fact, I haven't quite finished with it yet. But as soon as I have, he's welcome to it.
Well, that's rum. I never knew that before.
Maybe she's interested in the election. Maybe she's fallen in love with Mr. Marbles.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Hey,
Angel-faced doll, if you want me to love you forever, get round to our house with your great big lumbering carpets and fix my sink. Our Dennis has poured a chip clam full of fat down the sink and it's block solid.
Aye, OK, darling. I'll come round a bit later on. I've got to do Florrie's window first, OK?
Oh, hooray. Oh, and look, while you're down there, will you look at the ceiling? There's a damp patch on there and I want it fixed before the bad weather.
Yeah, OK.
Mind you, I might not be able to pay till after Christmas.
Eh?
Oh, give over. I'm only kidding. I'll pay you a bit sooner than that, but you'll have to wait a few weeks. I'm a bit stuck at the moment, so you'll trust me, will you?
You're not usually short of a bob or two. What have you been doing? Chucking it away at the club?
No, it's our Dennis is finishing this course and all that, and, well, I can't ask them to push on the slate like I could you, could I?
Well, doesn't he drop you a few quid now and again? He's bound to get tips and things, isn't he?
Oh, there's dinners and there's fares and his clothes. I can't send him to work looking like a ragbag, can I?
Aye, all right. I won't set the bailiffs on you just yet, then, eh?
Oh, if I didn't have to run like the clappers for a bus, I'd kiss you for that. Ta-ra.
I'll put that on the slate and all, shall I?
Oh, why don't you bump into somebody your own size?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Carter, but time and my supervisor wait for you.
Hello. Pushing and shoving, everybody's the same these days. You know, they've got no time to stand still for 2 minutes just to look at the world passing by.
You've come armed, have you?
Aye, it's what you lent me for doing yard.
If I'd have known what you was going to get up to, Albert, I wouldn't have lent at you.
Oh, now, chuck it, Len. That's all finished.
Shall I tell you something?
What?
I've been meaning for the last few months to put a new lock on that office door of mine, but I'm afraid someone's beaten me to it. They've broken in and pinched me petty cash.
What? Do you mean you've been robbed?
Aye. Ah, you know what it is. I've been putting it off and putting it off. The cobbler's son goes without shoes. I've been doing everyone else's job better than me. Oh, well, but I'm not kidding you. I could take a flying jump at myself. I could, then.
Well, how much did they take?
Well, luckily, there's only a couple of quid in the tin there, but... I mean, it's not that, is it? I mean, it's the thought behind it. I know there are not a lot of plaster saints round here, but I mean, I've been working 3 years I've had this business here, not even a nail half-inched. Well, you lose your faith in human nature, don't you?
Aye, it leaves you with a mucky sort of feeling, doesn't it?
I tell you, Mrs. Ogden, I would far rather have dropped that money down the nearest grid, far rather than this. I mean, it leaves such a nasty taste in the air, doesn't it? Everybody's suspicious of everybody.
You wouldn't care to name names?
Oh, now, Mrs. Ogden, really. All I am suggesting, dear, is that when anything disappears, especially money, it leaves everybody so edgy. I know I hardly slept a wink last night, what with poor Mr. Walker moaning away with his rheumatism and me going over and over it in my mind, tossing and turning, tossing and turning.
How is Mr. Walker this morning?
Oh, he's bad, dear, very bad. If he weren't so poorly, I wouldn't be standing here. I've no right to be out of bed myself the way I feel this morning.
Well, I'll put kettle on, shall I?
If you would. There is just one thing, you know. I did feel it was unnecessary for your husband to take the attitude he did.
What attitude?
Well, I mean, nobody had accused Emma.
I should flip him, well, I hope not.
Well, quite. And therefore there was no need to upset me like that, was there? I mean, it's hard enough for me as it is coping with Mr. Walker ill.
Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Walker. I'm sure my Stan had no intention of upsetting you. But a father's got a right to look after his daughter's interests. You'll grant me that.
Yes, but nobody had even suggested that Emma... Look, Mrs. Ogden, what obviously happened in this case is that somebody wandered in from the street. Probably one of those louts who was in here the other night in leather jackets. One of them looks as though he goes round habitually coshing old ladies.
Ah. Well, I'll get that pot of tea brewed, eh? Then I can mind the place for you, if you like, while you get your shopping done. I've no rush to get back, because Stan's having his dinner at the Chippy with one of his mates.
Shopping?
Aye. You said you had to go to Butcher's for something for tea.
Oh, no, there's no hurry about that. That'll do this afternoon. No, you see, Mr. Walker may be well enough to get up this afternoon.
Well, if it's liver you want, you best go this morning. I mean, he's generally sold out by after dinner.
Oh, no, that'll be quite all right. No. I shall wait until Mr. Walker's up, thank you.
Oh. All right. Suit yourself.
If you do decide to join the Christmas Club, Mrs. Pegley, will you let me know in plenty of time? Because Christmas will be on us before we know where we are.
Oh, Mrs. Lindley, do us a favour.
What's that, love?
Christmas?
Why don't you like it?
It's not that I don't like it, it just happens to be in the middle of winter and I don't like being reminded of that. I don't care if we've much summer to boast about, but 2 minutes flipping sunshine and then winter's on us again, it's enough to make you depressed, you know.
It's not bad, though. Nice, long, cosy evenings by the fire.
Oh, why? It depends if you've someone to be cosy with.
Yes, I suppose it does, really.
I hope I'm not interrupting a private conversation between you two ladies.
Oh, well,
No, it's just I didn't notice you come in.
Well, that's not surprising. He's been in and out that often this morning. He's beginning to look like one of the fixtures.
Well, it's my memory, do you see? I can't think of more than one thing at a time. Of course, it was my grandmother's fault. She dropped me in my head when I was a baby, and I've had this memory to show for it ever since.
That's a dreadful thing to happen.
Oh, dreadful.
Ah, well, it's a nil wind, Florence. Now, if I hadn't forgotten my wage packet on that packing case when I broke off for a smoke, you see, and then nailed down the lid, well, I wouldn't be here talking to you now, would I?
I suppose you might call it fate, really.
Right, well, what have you remembered to forget this time?
Coffee.
Small jar or large?
No thanks.
Eh?
I said no thanks, I don't want it in a jar.
Oh, that's our cheese, isn't it? Because that's the only sort we've got.
Oh, I'm sure it's not. I'm sure you have it in cups too, now haven't you?
You are a caution.
Aye, and a warning.
I'll tell you what, I'll make us all a nice hot cup of coffee. I could just do with one myself. I've got a sort of tickle in my throat.
Well, you want to watch that. Throats can be tricky customers.
Aye, I know a few other tricky customers and all.
You know, for a very lovely young girl, you got quite an acid tongue on you.
Oh, well, no, I think that's better than having a smooth one.
Well, now, I wouldn't say that. I mean, you wouldn't want bad temper to take the light out of those lovely eyes. Or frown wrinkles to spoil that beautiful complexion.
Hey, you just keep your personal remarks to yourself.
You know, I think you're a very nice young girl with a family who doesn't quite appreciate your nature.
Well, do you know, as a matter of fact...
Yes, and you're waiting for the lad who will.
You're dead right there.
You see, we understand each other. Well, I suppose there must be quite a deal of trade in the frozen business these days, in these parts with so many women folk going out to work.
It's me dad, you see. Me mum's not so bad, but...
Most the thing to do is to get a barbecue in here, you know, with all those little chickens roasting nice and brown, so tempting in the window. My goodness, you could make a bomb with them.
See, she's always been dopey where he's concerned, and that's why I've had to cope, you see.
Of course, mind you, it's a nice little spot on a corner. I'm sure she does a fair amount of passing trade as well as her regular customers.
Do you know, sometimes it's like living in a positive meadow.
Ah, never you mind, darling. You'll meet that lad one of these days. Now did she wear a chignon, I'll have you all to know. And I met her in the garden where the platies grow. Ooh, fancy that. Don't know my own strength. Oh, the shekels do look thin on this ground. Wouldn't be hard to improve on that.
I'm sorry to give you £1 for a milk stout, Mrs. Walker, but I haven't any change. Oh, isn't it lovely to be able to say that?
Dad?
Eh?
Haven't we got no writing paper with outlines on?
I don't know, ask your mum.
But she's not in.
Oh, where she comes in.
I can't I gotta get to do it with post.
You have to manage with what's there, that's all. What's wrong with lines, anyway?
You can't go writing after jobs with lines on it. I mean, it's dead common.
Yeah, away.
It's right to read it in magazine.
Well, how can you write without them, anyway? Tell me that. How are you going to keep it straight?
You just do. So we haven't got any then?
Oh, belt up.
Wilson?
What's this job, then?
In London.
What sort of a job?
In business.
Aye, monkey business if I know you.
Dad, I wish you sure up. Unless you can tell me how to spell the word unique.
That's easy. You, Neek. Work it out for yourself. I didn't expect my goods how to give you a good education for now, you know.
I'll put exceptional.
Is there out there for me?
In London?
Ah.
But you know Mum would never move away from here. Any road, it's more on the management side. What you might call white-collar work.
Yeah, you're right. My main point's always been more brawn than brains. Yeah, still the lasses liked it.
Yeah, but you've gone dead flabby since you've given up work.
Maybe you're right. There's one thing about trucking that keeps you slim, doesn't it? You know, I think it's time I got off my backside and put a few feelers out.
Oh, I in training for Mr. Universe, are we?
I saying he's getting a bit flabby.
He is and all. Ooh, look at that. You're like a few £100 a try.
I'm not too far to bang your two heads together.
Do you know, one of these days I'll walk in this house and I'll be greeted by a kind word and I'll drop down dead on the spot.
What are you doing now in the afternoon anyway? Have you got the shove?
No, I've not got the shove, as you so charmingly put it. I've nipped out for 5 minutes. Mrs. Lindley's broth of a boy isn't there, giving a hand. She doesn't even notice if I'm not there, you know. He's got her that blarney.
What's he do? What's his job?
How the heck do I know? I suppose must have been a packer or something like that and give it up to come over here. Like.
All the same, these foreigners come over here scrounging on us.
Oh, listen to kettle calling the pan black. At least Tickler has got a bit of money to his credit, I know, because I've seen it.
You laugh on the other side of your face, Miss Madam, when I come home with a few fibres under my belt.
Pigs will fly first.
And my dad was talking about taking up trucking again.
It's not.
Looks like to come to it. Well, it doesn't grow like magic, as you're so fond of reminding me.
Oh, I know, but you can't knock the truck.
I thought you'd be chuffed. Constant living wears away the stone, doesn't it?
Oh, I know, but I mean, going away for weeks on end.
I never knew you missed me.
Oh, well, don't kid yourself. I don't. It's my mum I'm thinking of. Oh, Dad, you'll have to think of something else.
Get you. Who was the fella shooting his mouth off about leaving temptation lying around, eh?
Now, look, Len, it's not funny. All right, it was my own fault. But I'll tell you this, I'm going to make sure my back door's locked and bolted in future, even if I'm only nipping next door. That won't bring me golden sovereign back, will it?
No, mate, no, it won't, will it?
No, that was the star piece of my collection, that word. You know, I've had that almost from the start. It was given to me when I was a little lad, about 9 or 10. Got great sentimental value to me as that piece, to send out of a tidy bit of cash value. Who can it be, Len?
Albert made, I think it's about time we stopped yapping and got down to a bit of action now, you know. I mean, there's Florrie Lindley, Annie Walker, me, now you. Oh, it's gone too far now.
What, do you mean call the coppers in?
No. But I mean, the old winking lot swiped up to now doesn't come to a bit much more than, what, a few quid, does it? So whoever's taken it's got it now, and they can give it back, can't they, if we handle it properly.
You mean you think it might be somebody we know?
That's exactly what I mean, yeah. So how about you and me doing a bit of Sherlock Holmes, eh?
Hi, well, when do we start?
Now. Think of a list of suspects, eh? Who do you know?
Well,
Now, come on, there's no point in being squeamish. If you know anything, just let me know, eh?
well, I don't like to speak ill of the lad because he's never been in trouble except that once. At least not to my knowledge.
Dennis Tanner.
Well, he did go out of that shelter when we were all there while they were fixing bomb. He said he was going to a coffee bar. And the houses were all emptied. They'd been dead easy.
And he's short of cash and all, isn't he? Elsie was saying he owes a lot of HP on his clothes and that.
Well?
Oh, I don't know. He's a bit flipping obvious, though, isn't he? Who else do we know? Hey, how about Irma Ogden?
Why, Irma?
Well, she works in Florrie's shop and the Rovers as well.
Oh, she don't work for you, and she don't work for me.
No, but she's in a better position than most to do a bit of surreptitious swiping, isn't she? Oh, I know she's got a pretty face.
All right. Irma.
Aye. Any more for any more?
Hey, what about Florrie Lindley's Irishman?
Murphy. You've got something there. Hey, was he out on the street the whole time that you was in the mission?
Aye, and none of us know out about him. He might be the biggest rogue in Christendom for all we know.
Complete strange. You've been here about 10 minutes and things start doing a disappearing trick. It's a bit more than a coincidence, isn't it?
But we've got no evidence.
Aye, but he's not short of cash either.
Well, that proves no.
And how to work Irishman? Where's he getting it from?
Oh, no, you can't go by that. I mean, look at Minnie Caldwell.
Minnie?
Aye. Now, what sort of income she got? I mean, apart from a pension and a few bob that Charlie gives her when he remembers. And yet you saw her today at Rovers with a fistful of pound notes. No, if Suspicious has got out to do with it and having money, well, I reckon that Minnie Caldwell's the first on the...
Chicken, Mrs. Caldwell. Now, are you sure you don't mean a chicken pie?
Oh, no, proper chicken, Irma, please. Nice plump one with lots of breast, if you can find it.
Are you sure, Mrs. Caldwell? A good-sized chicken will set you back quite a bit.
Oh, well, I have 2 men to feed, you know.
Yeah, but even so...
Oh, and a large packet of frozen raspberries. Yes. Do you like raspberry crumble, Mr. Murphy? I make it very nice.
It'll be ambrosia, made by you, Mother. Ambrosia.
No, Mr. Murphy, raspberry crumble.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Love.
Here we are, Mrs. Caldwell.
Oh, thank you, Florrie. Now, don't you be late, will you? Right, goodbye, Florrie.
Blimey, she'll be opening a cafe next, that one.
Ah, she's enjoying herself.
Ah, she's a saint, that woman. A real saint.
Isn't there no service round here?
Oh, shut up.
Is that a way to talk to a customer?
No, but it's a way to talk to you.
Well, don't take it out on me just because Dad got you needled.
I know, I've been thinking we'll have to do something about that, you know. I'm not having my mum upset again. She's had enough of that in her life. Anyway, you was yelling for service. What did you want?
2 threepenny stamps.
Oh, will you take them with you, or will you have them delivered?
Oh, I'm killing myself laughing.
Well, don't pop off before you pay for the stamps, will you? Who are you writing to, anyway?
MYOB.
Oh, charming. He's only taken a sisterly interest.
Yeah, well, I'd call it something else. You know, it begins with N and ends in Y. Try, I've got to get this in post.
Oh, good deal.
Kid brothers. They're a breeding to themselves, aren't they?
Oh, there's not another one like our kid. He's one on his own.
Don't you believe it? You'll be quite an expert on the young ones, eh, Florence?
Me?
Yes, I'm sure you must have quite a few coming in here for their lollipops and ice creams.
Well, yes, of course. They're little devils, most of them, too.
Nevertheless, they are little divils with plenty of little pennies to jingle in their little pockets. Tell me, have you ever thought of putting in a nice little soda fountain? You know, like the ones they have in the Yankee drugstores.
Do you mind? This is Coronation Street, you know, not Broadway.
Well, you know, I can just see it. The nice little canopies, you see, in... Now, what are your favourite colours?
Blue and lemon.
Blue and lemon, you see. And a nice glass-topped counter. The little lady over here dressed in a nice smart overall and a perky cap. And the Knickerbocker glories, the banana splits, the ice cream sodas. Well, now, can you just hear it? The happy, laughing little voices. And the merry tinkle of the till.
Oh, there's hardly room enough as it is with the post office.
And now you know the saying, where there's a will, there's a way. Who do you think invented it?
I get away. Hello, Elsie. Hey, do you mind if Irma serves? I've got a cup of tea going cold and she's had hers.
No, it's all right. You enjoy yourself.
And you're not kidding.
So, that's the fabulous Irishman, is it?
Oh, that's Tickler Murphy, large as life.
Larger, I'd say. Hey, that's never his name, is it, Tickler?
Well, according to him, it is. Hey, I wonder how he got it.
I don't know. I don't want to find out, thanks.
Oh, well, don't worry, because you won't.
Oh, thank you very much, Miss Hogden, for your vote of confidence. Next time you're passing the canal, drop in.
No, you know what I mean, don't you? You've not got what she's got.
Do you want to have your beauty ruined for good now?
I mean, you've not got a nice little business of your own.
Yeah, perhaps you're right there. Besides, I fancy one with a bit more hair on the top.
Yeah.
Anyway, now you've made me forget what I've come in for. I know, small sliced loaf and
Yeah.
a packet of beef soup. Think he's trying to get his feet under the table, do you?
Oh, no, I've not said that. He just seems very interested in the business and everything, you know. I mean, what I've seen of him, he doesn't seem a bad fella. She could do worse.
Seems taken with him, doesn't she?
What? Oh, listen. You've got no idea, honest. She jumps a mile every time that bell rings, thinking it's him, and 9 times out of 10 it is.
Ah, well, it's doing her good. She looks well on it.
I'm tickled pink for her, actually, though.
Look, don't go too dewy-eyed. Everything might seem to be coming up roses for Florrie, but how long can it last?
Oh, I'm glad I caught you, Len. Look, I need your help.
Look, if your flipping sink's blocked up with cold fat, you can wait till tomorrow morning. I've been doing Elsie's for 2 hours. I'm just about up to here with it. I've got to do bloody Florrie's window and all.
No, it's not about work. I want your advice.
Oh, just come to Auntie Minnie.
Well, look, you remember when Stan came a bit ago and asked you if you'd got out going for him here?
You mean about a job? Now, look, I had that out with him at the time.
I know, he told me all about it. Well, I suppose it were a bit of a daft idea, really. I mean, he can't even knock a nail in straight, can't my Stan? No, what I was wondering was, did you know of out else going that might suit him?
Well, he shouldn't have got the push from the other one, should he? It was a cushy little number, that.
Oh, no, that chauffeuring were too soft for him. Not his cup of tea, really.
Well, I don't know. We could always go back to trucking, I suppose.
No! That's why, you see. I mean, he's threatening to go back, and that's why I want to find him a job here.
Well, I mean, I don't know offhand now, do I? I mean, he hasn't got a trade, for one thing. It's not easy. I mean, nothing that'll bring him in a decent sort of wage. And I mean, he's not a kid anymore, is he? You wouldn't want a kid's wages.
Well, we'll manage somehow. I've told him that.
Well, I don't know.
Ah, well, I do. The important thing is having my Stan here with me. Not buzzing off the other end of the country every 5 minutes. I tell you, Len, I don't care what I have to do. He's not going back on them trucks.
You're not going back on them trucks. You're not going back on them trucks. You're not going to come to me for flaming job.
Oh, Len.
Howdy, Bill.
You haven't got any foreign to them?
No.
Hey, they're talking about you down at Rovers.
It's nothing new, is it?
Yeah, they're saying it's not like you to worry about other folks' problems.
I'm not worrying about other folks' problems. It's my problem I'm worried about, my petty cash. Oh, well, but, mate, I'd just like to lay my hands on the fella that's done this.